Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I'm going to cover the last part of August, starting with August 22nd through the 31st. A detailed analysis of where the planets are transiting, as well as where the moon is according to its sign and nakshatra, and all the aspects that are going on. Yes, this is a lot of work. I know somebody was kind enough to say, oh my gosh, that's so much work. Are you sure you want to do this? And yes, if it helps people, this is what I do astrology for. So I'm going to give you the weather forecast from the stars, what to expect for the last part of August in this video. So before I continue, yes, I have to remind everyone, if you want all of this delivered to your email address, sign up for my free newsletter. You'll have weekly interpretations all like this delivered to your email. Go to galacticcenter.org, and plus while you're there, I always want to remind everyone, check out all the good offerings I have. I have the Shooting Stars class, which is amazing. It's an empowerment group. We all come together weekly for spirituality and empowerment. And also my magazine, Joni Patry's Astrology Insights, monthly online magazine. Interviews, articles, amazing stuff. And don't forget my university. So all of that is on galacticcenter.org. And if you want to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university website, universityofvedicastrology.com. So now let me get going and give you all the rest of August, starting with August 22nd. So August 22nd, this is a big day because Neptune is going to be opposing Mars. Exactly. And what does that tell you? Deception, deceit, denial, scandals. All of that is going to be rampant and out there big time. This is a huge aspect. It's going across sidereally Virgo, Pisces. Pisces is the martyr. Virgo is the critical one. So you're going to see all this criticism and hype going on. It's going to be ferocious and intense. This is August 22nd. And also the nakshatras, you're still going to have the moon in Libra, and it's going to shift out of Libra. I mean, it's going to be in Libra, but it's going to shift out of the nakshatra. It's going to be in Swati most of the day. And Swati's nakshatra is pretty intense. It deals with communications. Its symbol deals with the blade of grass that sways. So guess what that means? People will be changing their mind. They're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. So it's a very, kind of an interesting nakshatra. It's ruled by Rahu, so it's really intense, but it deals with the sway of communications to kind of get what they want. This is Rahu energy. But by the evening, the moon's going to shift into the nakshatra Vishaka. So for the most part, it's going to be in Libra because Vishaka flanks between Libra and Scorpio. So Vishaka is ruled by Jupiter and is very determined. So you'll see things become a little easier by that evening, but also realize the whole time that the moon is in Libra for that 2.5 day span, it's in mutual exchange with Venus. So while the moon sits in Venus's sign, the moon sits in Cancer. Venus sits in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, and the moon sits in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. You get that mutual exchange between the moon and Venus. It's kind of like Venus is in Libra and the moon is in Cancer during this time. So that's very powerful and empowers during that 2.5 day span. Amazing moon and Venus. So coming together with women, with relationships, it's really enhanced by this Parivartana. It makes things easier, especially since we're dealing with this Mars-Neptune opposition that deals with scandalous affairs. It's nice to have that Moon-Venus kind of lighten things up in the exchange. And then let's move on to the next day, which is August 23rd. We're going to have the moon halfway through. It's going to be still in Libra, but halfway through the day, it's going to move into Scorpio. So Scorpio is the sign that the moon is debilitated in. So this is not a great day for getting things done. It is in the nakshatra Vishaka for part of the day. Vishaka is determined to get things done, but the moon being here is weakened. So when it comes to expressing yourself emotionally, watch out, because you might come off as being a victim, whiny, all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, keep your opinions to yourself. Don't be so overly expressive with that. This is the time. Today will be the quarter moon. You're going to see the moon in the half pi of the quarter. But I'll tell you, the Rahu and Jupiter actually go 6-8 from the moon, which means, you know, it's not a great day. And the moon being debilitated in Scorpio, it's too much emotion. And watch your health still. Things are not good in the area of health, especially with Neptune. Neptune can be disease, and Neptune's opposing Mars. Mars is a big trigger. So this is kind of an interesting day with a lot of flip-flops and many, many changes that are occurring on the 23rd. Okay, let's talk about August 24th. August 24th is the day Mercury turns retrograde. It's going to be at 28 degrees of Leo. And Leo is the sign of expression. It deals with actors and leaders too. So anything, I seem to think with the actors being on strike, yeah, they got a good reason to be on strike. They're not getting paid very well. And it seems like there's a big standoff in this area while Mercury is retrograde. The moon on August 24th is still in Scorpio, so it is debilitated. It's weak. Can't express ourselves properly emotionally during this time. But as the moon moves into Anuradha, that is a nakshatra that is ruled by Saturn. It's a little heavier, but it does deal with bringing together people in terms of friendship capacity. So it's a time to meet with friends, but have support and be understanding, because while the moon's debilitated, most people aren't that understanding. So you can really make a change. Saturn is in the 4th position from where the moon sits. So during this time, you'll find that, you know, if your mom's still around, be nice to her, because she's struggling in some way. Be appreciative of your mother, but all at the same time, you just feel a lack of appreciation or protection going on in your life and in your world. August 25th, the moon is still in Scorpio, but it shifts into the nakshatra called Jyeshta. And Jyeshta is the nakshatra that deals so much with jealousy. And usually I find with this moon being here, it's like, take my word for it, people are jealous of you. And yeah, maybe you don't understand why, but it is a fact. So be careful around coworkers and things of that nature. Be understanding. They may feel intimidated by you. Also on the 25th, Mars is in a perfect trine to Pluto. These are two planets that deal with action and transformation. Mars and Pluto, from Mars being in Virgo and Pluto being in Capricorn. They're in a trine, so this is a day that you can push forward. It's a day of transformation and change for today. So the things you've been trying to change, you'll be a little bit more aggressive, and things will be more powerful for you to initiate the changes that you want. So this is a new beginning, pushing through, and many times this can deal with revelations, with finding the truth, especially around politics and things of that nature. Governments, because that's what Capricorn does rule. Okay, let's talk about August 26th, because the moon will finally shift into Sagittarius today. And during this jaunt through the sign of Sagittarius, initially today, it will be in Mula, the nakshatra Mula. Mula is a nakshatra that can deal with destruction. And on a positive note, you can destroy the things that aren't working for you. So in other words, conquering bad habits. This is a good day for this. Don't be self-destructive. That's what that nakshatra can sometimes do. In the area of relationship or love, it's not the easiest day because Venus is going to be 8th from this moon. So it is a time to work on yourself psychologically in terms of what you've been trying to learn through love and relationships. But Mars does sit 10th from the moon, so it is a good day for work, career, and those kind of pursuits. And it's even during this time, even though Mercury is retrograde, you can move forward with some travel plans, but do expect the delays and the issues around Mercury retrograde, such as delays, complications. But you know, I always say this, Mercury retrograde, it's very difficult to travel during that time, but once you're on a vacation, it's a great time to reflect and relax when Mercury's retrograde. Mercury retrograde is a time you're supposed to pull back and review things, reassess things, reflect. There's no better place to do all of those things than when you're on vacation, a real vacation, not a work vacation. But just remember, getting to your destination may be a little hairy, but once you're there, it's time to relax. So August 27th, the moon is still in Sagittarius this day, and it shifts to the nakshatra called Purva Ashada. And Purva Ashada is about finding the truth. It's like about spirituality and truth, contemplating what's real. And it deals with the law, can deal with spiritual law. Of course, that is finding your truth spiritually. But this day, the Sun and Saturn will be in opposition. So this is a day where there's some serious thought and contemplation going on here with the Sun. But particularly there's events going on with world leaders. And you'll have to pay the price with the world leaders, are going to have to pay the price with the Sun and Saturn being in exact opposition. Okay, so the Sun is in Leo and Saturn is in Aquarius, and they're both 10 degrees opposing each other. August 29th, Uranus will turn retrograde on this day at 29 degrees of Aries. Whenever a planet turns retrograde on that day, that planet becomes intensified because it's standing still. And it's starting to move retrograde. So during this time, and even times right before this, when Uranus is standing still, expect a lot of earth changes, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, things of that nature, storms, things of nature are going to be in an uproar. And that's usually based on the fact that there's been so much a human emotion that's causing the shifts on the planet. So things are intense right now on this particular day, August 29th, when Uranus turns retrograde. Now another thing is the moon will be in Capricorn, and it will be in Capricorn. The moon kind of takes on a serious tone, and it will be in Dhanishta. Dhanishta is ruled by Mars. So this is a very intense day, August 29th. But let me back up a day because I don't think I covered the 28th. So August 28th, the moon will shift from Sagittarius into Capricorn. And when this happens, it's going to go into the nakshatra called Shravana. And Shravana is a beautiful nakshatra. It's actually ruled by the moon. And this nakshatra deals specifically with listening. It's a day you have to listen, pay attention. You're not going to learn anything. I always say this when you're doing all the talking. So listen and learn today. Great things can be gathered. The moon on this day will be opposed Venus while the moon is in Capricorn and Venus is in Cancer. So oppositions deal with balancing things out, bringing things to a balance, contemplation, but most of all, coming to a time where you can both agree on things. So it's a time of balancing out your needs and your wants with your partner. Come to some compromises on this day. This is the 29th, and Saturn being in the second house. Hold off, second house, I mean from where the moon sits. Hold off on any frivolous spending while the moon is here in Capricorn. And Capricorn is a sign that deals with serious thought, serious things while the moon is here. So realize that's what you have to pay attention to. So August 30th is the day of the full moon. And we have 2 full moons this month. So what are full moons? They bring things to light. So the full moon is going to be in Aquarius around 13 degrees of Aquarius, while the sun still sits in Leo at 13 degrees. So this beautiful full moon brings things to light with what's going on with what? Leaders, world leaders, because the sun is there still in Leo, but the moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of humanity and bringing people together with the cause, with the reason to improve and make life better. So much is going on in governments with leaders, but there's a sense of the reason for this is to improve and make the world a better place, with this full moon being in Aquarius. Now, another thing, it is a time of emotional stuff going on. Now, the moon during this time will be, while it's in Aquarius, conjunct Saturn. This is heavy. This is serious. We need these changes to take place. And the moon being in Aquarius, it will be in the nakshatra Shatabishak. Shatabishak deals with the 100 healers, and it generally deals with some serious things that are going on in the world concerning, well, let's just say health and healing, and all the problems that are going on in this realm with disease and the disease potential that's going on in August and throughout this season. And Shatabishak, it's a serious one pertaining to the United States. So much is coming up. And there is so much karma for the United States right now and the presidential leaders with this full moon hitting around the placement of where the moon sits in the United States chart, as well as the president of the United States, Biden, is under deep pressure with this full moon, I've got to say, especially with it being in the nakshatra Shatabishak. That nakshatra is ruled by Rahu. It is an intense, powerful nakshatra, to say the least. Now, August 31st, last day of August, we still have the moon in Aquarius, but it is shifting out of Shatabishak into, during the day sometime, Purva Bhadrapada, which Purva Bhadrapada means there's something not quite right. We're not seeing something right. People are being two-faced Why? It's the symbol is a man with two faces. But during this time, the moon is opposing Mercury. And when the moon opposes Mercury, let me just say this is an intense time. People are overthinking things. Your mind is going crazy. You'll be overthinking things. Your mind is on overdrive when the moon and Mercury are fully aspecting each other. Rahu and Jupiter are in the 3rd house from where the moon sits. So what does this mean? All about the communications, where it's going. A lot will be revealed and a lot will be spoken about. Mars sits 8th from this moon. What does that mean? Deep, dark stuff is coming out, scandalous affairs, with this moon being in Aquarius, in the nakshatra Purva Bhadrapada. This is an intense month. Everything is coming to the surface, being revealed, stuff about government, stuff about leaders, and stuff most of all about health and healing. And this Mercury retrograde is going to put a reversal on many things that needed to be looked at. That's what's going on towards this last week of August. So with that, I'll close. Thank you.